All right, so I'm going on vacation this week, so I hate to keep like bunching movies together, but that's what I'm doing here. It's a four-in-one review of Talk to Me, No Hard Feelings, Nimona, and They Clone Tyrone. There's four new releases that I have seen. I will be bringing my computer and like my webcam to uh, where I'm going, so there'll still be content. I'm not quite sure what, but I did want to give this to you guys now, just to hold you over and stuff. So, the first movie we're here to talk about is Talk to Me. That is the new A24 movie that released on Friday. I saw it on Friday with Cam, and we were very excited to see this. The trailers looked really promising. Everybody was calling it the scariest movie of the year and like the best horror movie of the year. And so, naturally, I was pretty excited for this movie. But honestly, I was pretty disappointed by it. It did not give me a lot to talk about, and yeah, it's the worst of the movies that I'm talking about here today. I was so excited for this, and I couldn't wait because like everyone was saying, "Oh, it doesn't use cheap jump scares. It builds tension, and all of this stuff." And I went out of it going, "Really? That's it? Okay, cool." Like to me, it just I feel like I've seen this done before, better, honestly. Um, there were just stretches of it where I was just like, this is not interesting. This is not the characters and the relationships between them were not well developed whatsoever. I mean, Jesus Christ, these characters were incredibly wooden. Even like our main character that we get some insight on, she really isn't anything special. None of them are. The concept is well thought out. I will give it that. Like this isn't a bad movie. I'm not gonna come out here saying like this was atrocious, but it just was very serviceable. It was just kind of another demonic possession movie. It was just another possession movie, and we've seen millions of these recently. I mean, so many of them, and it's getting drawn out. It's getting tiring at this point. And I thought that Talk to Me would be something different. It would be, I don't know, on another level. But I don't know if it didn't click for me at all. I was not loving it. It wasn't very well shot. Um, a lot of the tension felt really flaccid for me. Um, I just, sorry. I don't know. I did not grab onto this movie like a lot of other people did. It honestly reminded me a lot of Run Rabbit Run, which came out on Netflix, I think this month. I can't remember, but it was just fine for what it was. It didn't push the needle in either direction, and I don't think I'll ever be revisiting it. It was a huge disappointment from what I was expecting it to be, and maybe that's why I wasn't really vibing with it, because it was just fine. Like, it was okay and very bland and forgettable. So I'm gonna give Talk to Me like strong C plus. It was still okay, but eh. So the next movie I'm gonna be talking about was actually like a pleasant surprise. It was No Hard Feelings. I did not have any plans to see this movie. I saw the marketing and it was okay. It wasn't grabbing me at all. I found the premise a little bit creepy, but no, you know what, this was a pleasant surprise for me. It's not that like the best thing in the world. This is going to be on my best of the year list, anything like that. But No Hard Feelings really captured what a rom com should do and what it should be. I feel like we've surprisingly got a decent amount of really good romantic movies this year, and this is another one. Like I ended up really enjoying my time with this. It was very funny. It was a lot funnier than it had any right to be, and I feel like it dealt with the generational divide of Jennifer Lawrence's character, who's in her 30s, and like obviously Percy, that was his name in the movie, his being pretty young. So yeah, I thought it was pleasant, like their relationship together was very easy to watch. This movie at its best, is extremely sweet and very, I guess, not even nuanced, but like subtle. This movie is not trying to like bash you over the head with ridiculous comedy over and over and over again, and like really exploiting like the sexual stuff or like the raunchiness of the movie, which is like a lot of what the marketing kind of pushed for. This movie really isn't that, and it's more about like growing up and growing and having like a first relationship and stuff like that. And honestly, it was very, very sweet and very calming almost. Like this movie felt like a breath of fresh air, and even for its flaws, because like it kind of writes in characters that never come back again. Like there's this Native American character at the very beginning of the movie that seems kind of important and like is hanging out with all the characters, and they just completely forget about him by the end. Excuse me. There's just our moments like that where it's like, okay, that wasn't really well thought out, or this little bit is jumbled. It's a very messy movie at times, but I feel like that's obviously not why you are going to see this movie. It just was a really fun time, and I enjoyed my experience with this. So I'm going to give No Hard Feelings a light B. I very much enjoyed it. The next one is Nimona. This is an animated movie that's been really striking up a lot of buzz for people on Netflix. And I gotta hand it to Netflix because they have, like, very recently, like within the last couple of months, have been showing up with their new releases. Like, I watched Beef earlier this year and really, really liked it, that mini-series. That was really, really good. And then now with Nimona, and then the next movie I'm going to be talking about, they're stepping it up at least a little bit. They're turning the dial, I should say. Because Nimona was a very, very well-done kids movie. And then maybe that's like a family movie. Because its tone, obviously, is still very kiddie. But the story it was telling, the visuals were absolutely beautiful. Bringing these questions of morality up to like the center stage, and kind of introducing them to younger kids, I very much appreciated that. I thought that it was very tastefully done. And just like the metaphor for like sexuality and not fitting in, and like being, I don't want to read too much into this movie, but I could definitely see a very big parallel to like the non-binary experience, especially with like other people who are non-binary and have seen this movie and like feel seen by Nimona. I thought that was fantastic. How they really, really, really did a good job with that aspect of the movie. And I just feel like this is, excuse me, this is the kind of kids movie we need to be pushing. It felt, it never felt preachy. It never felt like it was shoving its message down your throat ever. I just felt like it was impactful, if that makes any sense. And besides that, it's a very fun adventure. There's some really great visuals, some very interesting characters, and great voice acting, especially by Riz Ahmed. He's one of my favorite actors currently working. I think everything he's in is phenomenal. Where is it? I think the last movie that I saw him in was The Sound of Metal, and this movie is great. It's actually grown on me with time. Excuse me. Anyways, Nimona for me is just like it kind of falls under the same category as like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, where it hits every box for a kid's animated movie. It is very funny. It is well performed. Like, all the voice acting is really good, and is actual voice acting and not just celebrities doing a voice, or their own voice, I should say. And it's pushing the needle and like introducing topics that will come on later in somebody's life, but not like beating you over the head with it, if that makes any sense. Just introducing them and kind of getting the conversation started. So I have to very much applaud Nimona for that. It is it kind of loses track after like in the middle. There are some moments in the movie that feel like they don't need to be there. They kind of feel like just like little side quests that are fun, yes, but don't necessarily service the full movie. I think the first and third act are really, really strong, and the second one is pretty weak. So that's my only really huge criticism for this movie. It's very, very good, and I would really recommend it. I'm going to give Nimona a strong B+. The last movie we're going to be talking about is They Cloned Tyrone. I was very excited to see this, and it's very sad that this movie is going to get overshadowed by Barbenheimer, because this was great. This is the best Netflix original for movie for... God, I can't remember, honestly, the last time one was this good. This movie is fantastic. It has such a unique premise and such a wholly unique story, and takes so many twists and turns, and goes off the beaten path in so many ways that just feels like, yes, this is what we need from these kinds of streaming service movies. We need to give more chances to these weird indie films that, like, that wouldn't really connect with a full audience on the big screen, but would really work with, like, Netflix's word of mouth. Does that make sense? Like, when a movie like this, it goes viral, it goes really big, like something with Squid Games, where that was unconventional and was a gamble and really paid off. That's why I think more of these movies should be on Netflix. Netflix needs to push more stuff like They Cloned Tyrone, because it is a wholly unique experience and is something that feels catered to streaming, if that makes any sense. It is a very well-performed movie. Both Jamie Foxx, who the actress who played Yo-Yo, I always forget her name, she was fantastic, and John Boyega as Fontaine, right? That was his name? Fontaine? Yes. They were all phenomenal, especially Jamie Foxx. I feel like we don't really get enough good Jamie Foxx acting. He's not a bad actor, he just chooses to be in a lot of bad movies and kind of gives so-so performances. Here he really steps it up, and I really liked his performance and character in this movie. And just the overall direction and the cinematography and the atmosphere that was built up through this movie. It has such great tension and knows when to show you things. And I don't know, I just had so much fun, like, delving into this movie, and it kept my attention the entire time, and had such a I don't know. It was one of those sci-fi movies that, like, just throws you through for a loop the entire time and keeps you guessing throughout the entire movie. It's just it was so good and so gripping and, like, schlocky, but in, like, a good way. This movie kind of took its B-movie roots and actually made them work. Like, it wasn't just bad for bad's sake. There was none of that kind of crap. This is just genuinely really good filmmaking, but with elements of, like, the weirder side of cinema. So I really, really loved They Cloned Tyrone. This will definitely be making an appearance on my best of the year list. My one complaint is, like, it just has that Netflix sheen on it. Like, there's a lot of like, medium/wide shots that just feel, I don't know, overused and stale. This is like a weird complaint, but if you've seen enough Netflix originals, you know what I'm talking about. Just the way they're shot. I feel like all of their movies somewhat look the same. Like, you can almost smell a Netflix original when you see them. But I feel like if they would have gave the director of this movie a little bit more creative freedom and did not adhere to, like, the strict Netflix cinematography fucking check-off list, this movie would have been, like, 5 out of 5, A+. But it's not, and so I'm going to give They Cloned Tyrone a really strong A-. I really liked this movie. Loved it. So, yeah, that was my thoughts on these 4 movies. Let me know what you thought of these movies in the comments, and I will see you guys with the next video.